All right, and we're live.
I won't say anything bad about people.
That's good. That's a good policy. If you don't have anything nice to say,
Don't say anything at all. There we go. No, I'm locking the door. I'm at the house in Georgia because I had to run away to put my head in the sand so I wouldn't see what was going on.
you're on location, but yet you're in outer space.
Yeah, I don't know how to turn that off. Woo! What can you say, Tom? We need reinsurance.
Fun day. Great.
Did you get my message at 3:55?
I did, and I did.
Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't make sense.
I did it.
At 3:55, I texted. How many people are watching?
Looks like 9.
We should wait and tell everybody what we did later.
Okay.
But it didn't. I just think they overreacted today. There's just no way.
Well,
you know
today was a train wreck. But, you know, a lot of people in the Discord were saying, oh, hey, JJT. A lot of people in the Discord were saying, you know what? I'd rather just get it over like this in one day.
It's not over, guys.
It's not. It ain't over till it's over.
It ain't over. It's coming. Oh, God.
Even still, because there's been days, you know, at least Bitcoin was down 6% today. There have been days where it's down 0.5% and the miners are down 8%. So
the problem with having 16-foot garage doors. They're impossible to close.
Chronic, are you saying you're down that 20 in total?
I'll be in my car in 2 seconds.
Oh, you're...
Who's down 20?
Chronic 313 said they're down 20K.
Yeah, I mean, this is what people... Tom has kept me. I was at a 9-story building and the window was open. And I said, I'm going to jump. And I had to call Tom.
It's one of those days. No.
Yeah, I was like, should I jump? You realize how many people? That's a good question. How many people jumped during the Great Depression?
I don't know the answer to that.
Well, when that happened, didn't like a lot of people lose everything?
Yeah, a lot of people lost everything, and the story was there was people on Wall Street jumping out the window. I can't imagine what kind of bad day you'd have to have in the stock market to jump out the window.
I can't imagine either. That's insane.
Although we've had a few days.
Hey, I would be 100% ready if did what they were supposed to do, guys. Oh, great. Oh. If people did what they were supposed to do. Oh, I just went blank, didn't I?
You went blank. Chronic, yeah, I'm holding Hot and Bitfarms myself, so I know the feeling.
If people did what they were supposed to do, I wouldn't be... unbelievable.
Hello, nameless narrator.
It takes a minute to get people, don't it?
Yes, and it's sad that most of the people that join us are going to have stories like these. Nameless narrators down 60K in the last 3 months. I mean, it's rough. It's rough. I hope for your sake it's in stock so that it'll come back. If some portion was in options, and I mess with options, so I'll tell you, I've lost some that's not coming back. But I try and keep as much in stock as I can.
These are going to be the stories of what's the stock market doing right now? Give me a recap. What ended up happening?
All right, let me get to Okay, so the day ended the stock market was down big time across the board. The S&P was down 1.89. The Dow, which nobody cares about, was down 1.3. NASDAQ was down 2.72% today. Another destruction on the NASDAQ. And Bitcoin seems to be following along on the NASDAQ, although I think that is going to stop very shortly. And the Russell 2000, the small caps were down 1.78%. So awful, awful Friday. And of course, Bitcoin was down.
Do you think they're still connected? Did you hear that question?
The NASDAQ, the tech stocks and Bitcoin, or the equities
Yeah,
and
do
Bitcoin?
do you think Bitcoin is still going in the direction of like the S&P or the Dow? Or
it's very much acting like that right now. I mean,
Okay.
that can't be denied. I do feel like that is overdue to break. There's just no, and now it's following big tech, which makes even less sense. There's no, the only sense it makes to me is it's not so much that they're moving in tandem as it is that it's the same group of investors, the big investors, that may be likely to move in that direction with both of those assets at the same time. So as more people get into Bitcoin and these big guys aren't dominating it, I just don't think it's going to move. I mean, there's literally no line of reasoning for that to move with big tech. That's just arbitrary. It's happening, but it doesn't make any sense.
I gotta do this. I'm trying to make it so it doesn't connect to the car. Because big tech won't let you zoom and drive. Did you know that?
What won't let you do who and what? Where?
Big tech will not let you drive your car and zoom.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Well, you get,
So
you
like
better
if I hook
work
that
it.
car up right now to like Apple Play, it shuts it off automatically. Isn't that insane?
I
So
believe
Tom
it.
was
Safety
talking
first.
just so you know, you're gonna have to look at the comments because I cannot see any of the comments today.
All right, I'll try and keep my eye. Nemo said the downturn gave me the chance to buy back my lost shares of all for free from trading. Nice. Hello,
Somebody used
Dr.
to.
Wyckoff. He said hello to me, Tom and George.
What was I going to tell you? Somebody said this statement: if you've lost a lot of money in the stock market, trade more. Does that make sense?
Listen, I actually just heard somebody say literally the exact opposite of that last night. Everybody
trade
probably
less?
knows. You guys know I am George. We are all George. He was basically saying, stop trading. Buy and hold. Average in. He had a whole spiel on it last night. He was
I agree
losing
with
it, though.
With miners. Yeah.
This is an all-time first. He started his thing, I am George, and we're all effed. Except he used the actual word.
So my question is this: has any of your fundamentals changed on Bitcoin mining companies?
No, there's nothing. The only thing that's changed is the price of Bitcoin, but it is still in the range that is acceptable. Although, under 40, I don't love it as much. So
right.
I'd like to see it get back over 40, but as long as it's over 40, the math works for all these Bitcoin miners. So this really is, it is super, super painful to look at. I don't know I think you guys can see this. I call this the big board of miners. They're all, this is as red as it gets, down 13.94%. Bitfarms, HUT was down 13.8%. Hive was down 15%. Riot down 14%. Riot's at $15.
Wow.
That's its 52-week low. Cleanspark's at its 52-week low. Riot at $15, I think, has a market cap of $1.8 billion. That used to be like $5 billion. or more. I think
So
6 billion.
So here's my question. Why would this be happening? Besides the price of Bitcoin going down, we all know. Why would they take these out like this?
Oh, this is a gigantic setup, and they are bringing the pain, and I know everybody's feeling it. So,
well, I mean, you just think that this is people are rotating out to put panic into people in the miners, and then they're going to rotate back in?
They're putting downward pressure on Bitcoin, and you can see the miners are reacting and overreacting. And these guys, here's the thing about the Bitcoin miners. Their market caps are so small, all put together, would still make up just one small market cap company. So it is very easy to push the price of these around. Now, eventually, obviously, these are going to go to their fair value. So that's the thing. Most stocks are not at their fair value right now. But I will say I do believe that over time, stocks will reach their fair value. And then they may go beyond it and be overbought and go past that. But at some point, you cannot keep a good stock down. And you can't, and again, once the first quarter results come out and second quarter results come out, you're going to have PEs of 2 to 1. There's no stock trades at that. It's just can't happen. That's my opinion.
So is that a good deal then, 2 to 1? Well, so for an example, Tesla is probably only 1 to 1 or 2 to 1 or something like that?
Yeah, they're like 100 to 1.
So just for an example, if Bitfarm was 100 to 1, what would it be right now?
Let's see what Tesla is at. Maybe they've come back a little. At one point, they were like 600 to 1 PE ratio. Oh, sorry. They're 308 to 1 PE ratio.
So why wouldn't the miners have something closer to like a Tesla versus what they have?
Nobody should have 308 PE. That Tesla's its own special case that, everybody's got their own opinion on. But, like here, I'll show you. Here's a couple that are out of control. Amazon's at a 50 PE. That's out of control. Historically, like 30 is very high.
30 is really high?
Yeah, 30 is meant for the small cap, high growth stocks. So
I have a question, and this is a general question for everybody, because I'm sure we're all in different industry. Can anybody tell me which industry is okay right now? Like, where do you do, in which industry are you in? And has COVID affected you or not? And is your industry okay?
You're not talking about the stocks in the industry. You're just saying the industry they work in is doing all right.
Yeah, exactly. If you're in construction, is that doing okay? If you're in just even specific, like painting companies, anything. I mean, because like I could tell you, I'm in construction, and we have flooring problems all the time. We wait for like windows. I ordered windows for a house, and it's taken more than 8 months. And then I get the window in. It was a sliding glass door, and the window's broken. And so now they got to reissue. And they said, "Oh, that's going to be another 4 months." I'm like, "Well, can you put the other windows and doors in?" Well, we don't typically do that. It's like, dude, we're trying to finish this house. So, like, what about maybe energy is okay? Maybe oil is okay. Maybe cattle is okay. Maybe there has to be things that are okay. And so I figured I would ask, is there anything where people are just banging and everything's okay?
JJT Peters says energy. He's in energy, and that's okay. So far, that's the only person who says we're okay. He also, by the way, also says don't look down because it adds a few kilo.
I'm fat?
I didn't say that. I'm just telling you.
I don't. Hey, it's okay. I understand.
It's all about angles.
Sometimes I'm fat. I won't look down.
People don't take selfies down like that. That's why.
What part of energy is he in?
Let's see.
Because energy is a big spectrum. No, but that's what we have to start talking about. So what were the minutes from the meeting yesterday, Tom, about cryptocurrency?
So
And do you think that this Russia thing has anything to do with Bitcoin?
do I think what?
Did you hear about Russia?
Oh well, they want to ban Bitcoin mining, cryptocurrency, all of it. But I really don't think that has a big impact. You know, some of that stuff makes the news for a little bit, but I mean, Russia is just not a major player in the Bitcoin world.
Has anybody heard any more information about Kazakhstan too? I have not heard anything else. Kazakhstan.
I'm just trying to read a few of the
Oh, go ahead.
chats. So this is not financial. Said old all bad miners you just named. This is not financial. Bitcoin miner stock I bought today. Cores. Yep. So that's that one converted. That's a new one.
What is it at, Tom? What's core at?
It was in the 8s the last time I looked, and everything got whacked today. So let's take a look. Where is it? Why is it not on my list? Well, do it the old-fashioned way. Whoa! Down 21% today.
To what?
So this just reflects, and some of these new ones are good, and I agree with a few on your list. This is not financial advice. CleanSpark is wildly undervalued. I think people are struggling to still understand the transaction that occurred for Core Scientific and what the real valuation is. But I mean, I did the math, and I think they're way undervalued. And I'm stunned they're under $7. That's nuts. Having said that, I still think, Bitfarms in the $3 range, that's a buy all day long, in my opinion.
$3 buy? So, well, I guess, let's go back to the normal statement. What's the best company to buy right now? Do you cost in? Do you think it's going lower? What do you think?
I did do some dollar cost averaging in today. I've been trying to hold off because I am worried that there's another push down, but I didn't want to ignore it, so I did some dollar cost averaging, and today I bought into CleanSpark and HUT and Bitfarms. So I just increased some of my already existing positions. I did not buy Cores yet, CORZ, but now that I see it's at $6.91, I'm definitely interested in that. Although these SPACs tend to get destroyed, whether they deserve it or not, once they convert over. Core Scientific is a monster. It's at the moment, it even dwarfs like Marathon and Riot.
What does that mean? How does it dwarf it?
Well, they've got 6.6 exahash of mining that they do, plus they host almost another 7 exahash of mining. They mined over 1,000 Bitcoin in December. They're just bigger than everybody else by a lot.
What's their market cap right now?
Well, see, if you look around, you really can't find that. So you kind of got to impute it based on the merger agreement with the SPAC. And I think at this price, they're probably at about a $3 billion market cap right now is what... that's off the top of my head, so, I would have to check my notes. But I think they're probably down to like $3 billion market cap. But all these market caps have just plunged. But that's a ridiculous... They did the valuation. The valuation for the conversion was $4.3 billion. But obviously they're way down from that. That was at a $10 price. So.
Wow, that's insane. So have you ever been in an industry like this where it was an emerging technology and it was a new technology, very new, just recently, a lot of growth, looks like there's going to be a lot of growth, and then it was taken out like this? Have you ever been in anything like this? Did it happen before like this?
Well, this is an extreme example, but this is how they do it. So, Bitcoin, there's never been anything like a Bitcoin before. So this whole cryptocurrency is something new and different. The Bitcoin miners are really a leveraged play off of Bitcoin. So, they even have an exaggerated effect on bad days like this. And by the way, on good days, later, when it's running up, I remember days Marathon was up 30% on the day. So, we haven't lived in that world for 3 months now, so we forget, but, those days happen too. This is the exact opposite of that day. We're across the board, just pummeled. But I'll tell you, I've been doing a little mini series of videos, 52-week lows. And the only companies I'm including in those videos are companies that are on my watch list. So I'm not scanning the 52-week low list and just, telling you who hit their 52-week low. I'm telling you most of my watch list is at or near its 52-week low. I would say much more than half of my watch list, and I probably watch about 200 stocks.
But do you think we need to go a few years out to compare it to that, Tom?
What do you mean?
Well, 52-week, this last year doesn't even make sense on their valuations.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. If you look at the videos, you'll see they're not just at their 52-week low because they're down 18%. They're all down between 70 and 95% on the year. I've never seen stocks down 88, 90, 92%, unless they're going out of business. I mean, I've seen those. We all know, on the way to zero, you hit every number. But these are not companies that are going out of business, that are down 90%. I have one stock in the video I did yesterday. It went down 75%, and from that point, it went down another 75%. So that sounds like 150%, but that's not how it works if you do it on the chart. So, anyway, if anybody's looking, we do a thing where if you want to request a video, I will make one video this week based on requests, except for it cannot be a pharmaceutical because I can't do pharmaceutical. So if you're requesting a super chat, whoever has the best super chat request I will do that video within reason, and hopefully try to keep it in all the ones that we're all looking at, or at least something in our world here. Most of you guys, I think, are subscribers and know what we do on the channel.
So here's my next question: did you expect this to happen, Tom? If not, why not?
No,
do you think that these were just things that happened outside that no one could see? With
Bitcoin or with the miners,
or
just with everything?
With Bitcoin and ultimately the miners.
I will tell you, you may not be able to see my screen, George, but everybody else can. This line at 39,652, I have been calling this the bottom. So I am surprised we took that line out. I'm not surprised at all that we retested it. That made perfect sense to me. The fact that we took it out and we are now pretty much exactly retesting really the last line of support as we speak. From here, there's just no more lines until 29,000. So I'm not calling 29,000. I don't think we're going to 29,000. I know somebody that does think that. But
I do.
It's George. But I don't think we are. But here we are testing this last line of support. So I am surprised. I really to me, I thought this line at 39,600-ish was a rock solid line of support, and we have taken it out. But it just goes to show, I mean, you cannot guess, especially in the short term, on a day or a week, and especially with, you know, an asset as volatile as Bitcoin or any of the cryptocurrencies. So I guess I can't say I'm shocked. I would be naive to be shocked, but this was not what I thought was going to happen.
So let's say Bitcoin settles in at like $33,000. Do these companies go up, or do they stay where they're at?
Well, they'll go down with Bitcoin right along on the journey down to 33,000. So I think you can expect to see another day like today if we have that kind of move. And then
so another 10 to 15% down from here?
Yeah, I would say that's a 15% move down. So
what if it stays there? Do you think that they're in line in their valuation, or is it just waiting for the big money to get back in?
Here's the thing. I don't believe so. Maybe I'll be proved wrong again, like I was, because I thought this was strong support. But I do not. If we hit 29, which I don't think we will, I think it will be more of a flash crash where we hit and recover to some number in the middle.
But even if it's a flash crash, it still hit it.
Yeah. But it's not gonna. But I don't believe it's gonna settle at 29 and hang out there and trade in the $29,000 range. I can't. I find that everything else, it already is not. You know, everything we ever learned about fundamentals and valuation and supply and demand. I mean, it's defying all logic right now, doing what it's doing, and a lot of it just has to do with the fact that there's big money, and really this is a small market, and, you know, massive amounts of leverage can be used here, unlike other places in the market. And that has been the source of a lot of our dips. But that's not what's going on right now. This is not about longs liquidating. The longs are long gone.
So when does it switch where they can take people's money by going short?
Oh, I think there's already massive short positions right now. But the thing is, at some point, that means the reverse is going to happen. They're gonna take everybody's money that's shorting it.
So, just so you know, since we started trading miners, Tom, you and I, China has banned it. There's been an uprising in, what is that country called? Kazakhstan? Right? Is that what you say it?
No, now that you've said that, I don't remember the right name. But
Kazakhstan.
Everybody knows what you're talking about.
Okay. And then there's also been, the United States has had a conference at the Congress about Bitcoin or mining in general and how much the energy consumption is. And then finally, there's been Russia that has banned or is in the process of, if he said he's going to do it, you might as well consider it done because he's going to do it.
Well, and the EU put out some stuff this week that they want to stop all proof of work mining in the entire EU. So, you know.
So then the EU puts that out. So why do you still have your convictions that you have with Bitcoin? Putting you on the spot.
That's okay, because all of those things put together still don't change the simple fundamental. There's 21 million of these, and many millions of them are already lost forever, and institutions are moving in. You know, this week, Intel got into the ASIC chip mining game, so that was big, and Google they haven't come out and said so, but, you know, they just hired somebody that tells us they're getting into this world, and I think you're going to be able to use Bitcoin on Google Pay sooner than later, so that'll be something big. All the banks are getting into it. I mean, PayPal's into it, Square's into it. There's just so much mass acceptance, and it just grows and grows. So, and then you got the Michael Saylors of the world out there who, if no one else will buy it, he'll buy it.
So the reason why I'm asking you this question is to give people ease that they can see exactly what is going on and to show them the setup. that is currently in front of their eyes.
Yeah,
because everybody is kicking and punching their monitors because they're losing money. When do you lose money, Tom?
When you sell your stock.
Yep.
So if you don't sell your stock, you haven't lost the money. You know, now we're at 37,000, so we're under this last line. So we keep, you know, and I will tell you, it could be this weekend that we have some type of flash crash down, bottom out, and turn around. I don't know. So someone's saying their bets are on Mara and Riot. I mean, those stocks have been destroyed. Marathon was at $80 2 months ago. It's at 25 now.
Wow.
22. Sorry, it's at 22 now.
Wow.
That's at 22. Riot's at 15. I mean, there was a long time where I steered clear of those, and I never buy options on those. I will sell them, but I won't buy them because the premium is massive. But now, they're looking attractive at this level.
So then how do you play your next strategy? What would be your strategy moving forward, Tom?
For me, I think the only thing you can do, and I've had to slow the pace at which I'm doing it, is I am dollar cost averaging in to the miners that I like, and the bottom is when the bottom is. I don't, you know, here we go. Now we're at 36,800.
Do you go into your margin?
I don't like to go into my margin. I mean, that's a personal decision. So, you know, the way that Bitcoin is, if you go too deep into your margin, you know, you could get in trouble. So I would just tell everybody, those of you that know and are familiar, you know how to use that. If not, I would stay away. And they really, most of the brokers really restrict the amount of margin that you can use on all these Bitcoin mining companies. Now, where you can use margin and leverage, there's other places where you can go leverage Bitcoin 50x, and that's part of the problem. So I would like those to go away.
What do you mean you can leverage 50x? What does that mean?
There are exchanges where you can go massively leverage, either long or short, and those are the people that get liquidated. Sometimes when you see Bitcoin drop, you know, 1,000 points in 5 minutes or less, that's because a bunch of people just were 25x or 50x long and they got liquidated. So, you know, they just, then your money's gone. It's not like buying and holding stock. Your money's just gone and there is no getting it back.
So you got to explain that a little bit more to me. So you buy a Bitcoin, let's say you bought one right now, it's $37,000. How do I trade it 50x?
So your margin usually allows you to trade 2x. Although there's so many restrictions on that it's hardly even like that anymore. But if you're talking about a blue chip stock, you can trade if you have $100, you can buy $200 of IBM.
Tom, 62 cents XRP. I've been telling you when it was at $1.20, I told you XRP is going to 60 cents. And you and everybody else said you're out of your mind. And guess what? 62 cents. Sorry.
I still think you're out of your mind, though.
I knew it was going there. Just so you know,
well, is this the bottom? Are you calling it bottom, or is it going worse? I'm calling
it. It's really close to the bottom. It's not going to go. If it goes below 60, it's not going to go below like 50. I would put the bottom at probably 55. Not financial advice, but I will tell. Should I tell everybody what I'm doing? Oh my God.
If that's up to you. Let me go through a few comments first.
Okay.
JJT Peters had a good comment. He said the EU cannot even agree on the max watt a vacuum cleaner can have, let alone they will agree on Bitcoin. So I think he's saying don't worry about that.
Now I'm paranoid about my neck fat.
And oh jeez. And then nameless narrator saying, what's your take on getting calls right now? From an options standpoint, I actually have bought some calls. But you know, a lot of these miners trade at vastly different premiums. So there's a few miners where the calls are affordable and they make a lot of sense. Like I said, usually Riot and Marathon, the premium's astronomical, so I don't really buy those calls, but I have bought some calls on some of the other miners, and yeah, I mean, I would give yourself some time, because the one thing I feel like we've really learned in the last year is this can get stretched out and stretched out and stretched out. So, you know, you get, even when you buy yourself 3 months of time, sometimes it's just not enough. So I would give yourself, you know, 6 months, 8 months, the more the better.
Tom, if I would have done what I told you I wanted to do 2 days ago with Riot and Marathon, how much would I have made? My puts.
What were you talking about doing? Well, the first thing we talked about doing at the absolute peak, you and I had a conversation. We should sell everything right now and buy it all back tomorrow.
Right.
And of course, we did not do that. So.
We stayed in. We're fools. Well, yesterday it got there Thursday, and when we saw it, it came way back, and I was like, you know what, I should just close out my position. But I'll tell you what, I have done that time and time and time again, and lost a ton of money.
It's hard to time, and it's hard to guess, and I mean, and those are short term. You know, you're looking to make short term quick money on those, so that risk is even much higher. So Kirby238 said he's down about 80K. So sorry to hear that. It sounds like you're holding on to your stocks. So hopefully, if you have some patience, that will all come back to you. That's all I can say. It doesn't feel like it, I know, but it also doesn't feel like we were at 69,000 just, you know, 2.5 months ago. We were at 58,000 a month ago. So Bitcoin does move fast.
Well,
unfortunately, it's moving fast in the wrong direction at the moment.
What did Michael Saylor, is that how you say it?
Yes.
He is making a prediction on the price of Bitcoin for next week.
Yeah, I think you're the one who told me this, so that you're the source.
No, it's true. No. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. You can look it up because he had a video on it yesterday. He thinks Bitcoin's going to $80,000 next week. That is, don't yell at me. That is Michael Saylor. That is Micro. What is his name of his company?
MicroStrategy. Yes.
MicroStrategy, not George. I do not think that is happening at all. But I just want to let you know what he's thinking.
That is mind-boggling to me. I think everybody on this chat right now would be thrilled if that happened, but I doubt there's very many of us that think that is going to happen.
Do you change your price prediction for the year on your high of Bitcoin? Question.
I have not changed my price prediction on the high of this year. You know, that's why if you watch my videos lately, I've been trying to talk about the end of the first quarter and the middle of the second quarter, because that's when we're going to get some financial results, and I feel like that's about as long as they can stretch this out. But trying to guess before that, I don't know. I mean, because, you know, last year's financials for these miners, most of these miners weren't even hardly mining Bitcoin last year. So, you know, the financial statements, Marathon went into last year with, I think, 0.2 exahash. They went out with 3.5. You know, they're hoping to get to, what, 23. So you're going to see some radically different, and they just got to 3.5. So, you know, Marathon, Riot, all these guys, everybody seems like they're over 1. A lot of people reached 2. A couple people reached 3. Core Scientific is headed towards 7. And there's enough purchase orders in where there's going to be 6 or 7 companies that have between 10 and 20 exahash by December 31st, 2022. So I feel like by the time that happens, you're going to see a lot of financial results, and the pressure on Bitcoin will have subsided. I'm still saying sometime this year we hit 100, which I think is a very common conservative goal.
Does anybody know what Plan B is saying?
I haven't heard anything from Plan B in a
I know everybody, everybody's quoting Plan B, and I want to know what he's saying now. I heard he made a video out saying it was called My Bad.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. The video goes like this. My bad. I was wrong.
Everybody, please remember to like this video. It helps us a lot, so I appreciate it.
My bad. You were right.
Well, he hasn't abandoned his stock to flow model yet.
Oh, he hasn't?
Hey, Mark Twain. How are you? Just saw your
Hey, Mark.
Hello.
So he hasn't?
No. There's some other models, so that's not the only model that he made. And there's another one that he said was invalidated, but his stock to flow, the last I saw, which was just a week ago, he still was saying, he was okay with that.
So can you tell me real quick, what is the total market value of crypto right now as we speak?
Well, I'm sure it dipped back under 2 billion again because it was just on the brink back and forth yesterday, and we're way down. I'm sorry, not 2 billion, 2 trillion.
2 trillion?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's under 2 trillion. Do you think it's below 1.5?
No. I mean, I could check right now and we can see. Let's see. 1,791,000.
So we got 2 something to go.
We're getting close to cut in half from the highs. I mean, this is everything's getting beat down. So
that's what I anticipated was a 50%. So just so you know, that's what I'm saying. Going down 270 billion.
Somebody earlier was talking about the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ is having a similar experience. Not to the extent over the last 6 months, but over the last month and a half. I mean, NASDAQ is already in correction mode on its way to, a bear market. And it was down 2.7% today. So the market is not doing good. Nothing is doing good. And even these numbers are all misleading, which is why I am going to keep putting out videos of quality stocks that hit their 52-week lows. And all of those videos, my minimum requirement is they're down at least 60% on the year. But most of them are 80 or 90%. Those are all potential buys. My biggest problem is we all have limited resources. I can't buy everything, and I don't know when the bottom is. I do know if I'm going to buy and hold forever, there's probably 50 stocks right now that I have, my confidence level is 9 out of 10 that they're going to be substantially higher 3 years from now.
Really?
The question is, are they going to get cut in half in the middle?
So here's my next question. Are EV stocks a good play right now?
Well, I got tomorrow's video, so spoiler alert, I'm doing 5, and I could do 10. I'm doing 5 EV stocks that hit their 52-week low today. Almost all the EV stocks, small cap, almost every single one's at their 52-week low. A couple of the large caps are now hitting their 52-week low. Some of them are nowhere near that. Obviously, Tesla is nowhere in the neighborhood of a 52-week low. There's a few others. Lucid isn't going to get anywhere near its 52-week low. But all the small and medium guys, they've all been destroyed. And they're not just at their lows. Every one on my list, there's going to be another list where everything's down 70 or 80 or 90%. Just on the 52 weeks.
Wow.
So I'm we're all looking for a sector like, hey, where's the money going? I don't know where it's going.
I know where it's going.
It's disappearing.
It's the magic trick. Where is the money going? So when does M2 money kick back in and go and come back? Does M2 money, you think, help any of the Bitcoin miner companies?
No. Definitely not.
What about the EVs?
Yeah, I think the EVs are getting punished at this moment, but they had run-ups that were mind-boggling. The large cap EVs, the small cap EVs have been getting punished for 10 months now. So very quietly, almost every single small cap EV is at its 52-week low.
That's insane. That's just, it blows my mind, you know?
Eric Brown is saying, I thought 8 for CleanSpark was cheap. Yeah, I did too, and I think it is cheap. It's gone low. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm having a hard time. Like, I know 8 for CleanSpark was cheap, but now, you know, it's way less than that. What's it, $6.50?
What is it exactly?
I'm gonna go find out exactly. It's $6.40 now. So there's no valuation line of reasoning for that to be at $6.40. So who's to say it won't go to $5 or $4? I think it'll go back to 20 before it's over, but I don't know where it's going in the middle.
So you think they can push it down even lower?
Yes. The answer to that is there is always downside risk. I mean, I try to quantify that in my videos, but now you can see very, very strong lines of support are getting crushed. So, you know, it's getting even harder to do risk-reward analysis as these things drop. The only thing I can say is if you're a buy and hold person and you're a dollar cost average person, then life gets a lot easier because then everything right now is a buy. And if it goes down some more, you buy some more. I mean, I don't see one miner on my list that is overvalued.
Wow. Do you know that somebody gave me a really good analogy the other day? And that was if you bought Apple from the year, say, I don't know, 2002 until the year 2018, you killed it. Isn't that insane?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that stock there's a bunch of those big tech stocks that have gone ballistic. JJ Peters is asking a good question, and in reality, it can't happen, but I've said the same thing. Why don't we just buy Arrow and divide their cash? Yeah, Arrow's trading for, their market cap is 50% less than their cash, so in theory, for $45 million, you could go buy $77 million. The problem is, you'd have to accumulate all that stock, and the price would just go up and up and up as you were doing it. But it does prove the point that Arrow, I mean, there's a stock I buy on every dip because it is now almost half the value of the amount of cash it has in the bank. And that's net cash minus all of its liabilities. So it's not like, oh, they got $77 million in cash, but they owe $50 million in accounts payable. They have no long-term debt. They have almost no payables. So that's their net cash position. So it doesn't, there's a perfect example of a stock that I know is going to do one of two things. Go out of business, and if it does that, it won't be for years because they have enough money to last many, many years. Or that stock is going to go up dramatically, double, triple, quadruple.
Really? And what do they do?
Arrow makes, they're in the EV sector. They make a last mile delivery electric vehicle.
So just explain this to me, Tom, because you know what? I'm new to this investment game, and I've only been trading now for about a little over a year. And so correct me when I'm wrong, and please forgive my ignorance. But didn't our president say that we were moving towards EV vehicles?
Well, everybody's been saying that for years and years now. And the number of EV vehicles is increasing. I mean...
but didn't he say by the year 2030
yes,
that they're outlawing or making it illegal to make gas-powered vehicles?
Yeah, there's all kinds of that type of talk, and I don't believe that's going to end up what happened. I do believe the EVs are going to get, their market share is going to be ever growing. I don't believe they're ever going to replace entirely.
But my question is, normally when everybody says you buy it on the rumor, right? Or buy on the news, sell the, what is it? How's that go?
Buy the rumor, sell the news.
So why in the world wouldn't that be going up?
Well, EV stocks went up. The big EV stocks, if you look at the large cap EV stocks, they have run up to a place that's mind-boggling. It's just, it's like everything else. There's the haves and the have-nots. If you look at the large cap, there was companies that had $40 billion market caps and they never sold a car. And then at the other end of the spectrum, you got Arrow, which is at $40 million market cap. I mean, it's...
Wow.
And a lot of the big ones are pulling back now because, I mean, right now everything's getting taken out. This is just a bad market. I mean, this week was a bad week. January has been a nightmare. Somebody much earlier said that this is on pace to be the worst January in the NASDAQ and the Dow. I don't know about the Dow, but I know the NASDAQ is on pace to have its worst January ever. Kirby, I hope you're right. He's saying, I think we'll look back at this conversation in 2 years and laugh. I hope we do laugh and all these stocks are somewhere where they belong instead of these ridiculous prices. I'm just trying to read some comments.
Did anybody talk about any other industries that was doing well?
I don't see anybody saying there's another industry that's doing well.
So the only industry that's doing well right now is energy.
That was our only positive answer.
Oh, I was hoping we'd get more, honestly.
I'm surprised we're getting a lot of people. Seriously 33 is talking about Arrow. Eric Brown's talking about Arrow. JJT Peters. So I'm surprised that all you guys know this one. It's a small cap, but yeah, I can tell you I'm accumulating in that and have been, and I will continue to. If that gets cut in half again, I'm buying some more.
Can I put you on the spot, Tom?
You can put me on the spot. I may or may not answer your question.
How bad did we get destroyed on the 10K challenge?
Oh, hey, the 10K challenge has just begun. So I will do a video on that tomorrow. And here's the thing. We're down on the 10K challenge. But you got to remember the way to get to where you're going, right? Because initially I still have a lot of the money not even invested yet. So when you buy an opening position in something, although it feels bad when that stock goes down, that is your way to average in over time so that when it goes back up, you have a full position. So I'm still filling out positions. And as I'm doing so, the market is crashing. So as much as it pains me that we're down a little bit in the 10K challenge, I feel like we're getting out to fill out some positions that are just unbelievable. I am super confident in the 10K challenge right now.
So, and just so you know, when Tom told me he was doing, I'm like, Tom, why don't you spend all the money all at once? And he says, go ahead, Tom.
You gotta, it's a dollar cost average in situation. Like, look what just happened. Like, if I had spent all the money in the first week, I would be down 3 times or 4 times what I'm down right now. And I wouldn't have had an opportunity to buy in at all these lower prices. And I still have 30% of the money on the sideline because I think there's more buying opportunities ahead. So it's going to take a month just to fill all this out. And it turns out that month could be the worst January we've ever had. So in the end, if the rest of the year turns around, that'll end up being a good thing. But it doesn't feel good while we're living it. So I do a video every Saturday updating where we're at on the 10K challenge. I think George is fading in and out. I don't know if you can hear me.
Do you, wow, that's incredible. Another industry that's doing well. Anyways, I'm going to my chubbiness.
So Kirby
Did you hear me?
Yes, you're back. I just want to respond to Kirby238. So with the 10K challenge, what we did is on the first day, we put $10,000 of cash in an account. So I've been buying positions. So I did not, I didn't spend all that. Actually, the first day I bought nothing. So it's the same 10K that we put in on January 1st, and we're still buying. I'm still averaging in with that money. So that's how that's working.
Still averaging in?
We're still averaging in, and I got 30% of the money still left sitting on the sidelines because I think that, we're not at the bottom. If we are, that's great, but
Hey, honey.
There's always an opportunity out there somewhere. I have not looked at the carbon credit market. Sorry, George. I'm just answering some of these.
How's that doing?
I don't know. Seriously, 33 is asking me if I've ever looked at the carbon credit market, and I have not. So if you have anything to share, that would be nice.
I know nothing about it.
WIM, is it? Says they got 3,340 shares of CleanSpark. Average $20.
Oof.
What should I do? Should I now sell my wife and buy additional shares, or just be patient?
Well, send pictures.
I think your wife would not be pleased at that decision. I mean, that's a weighted out situation, in my opinion. I will tell you, I've not sold anything. So I'm not selling. I'm still dollar cost averaging in. Unfortunately, I know a lot of people, and I'm doing that at a much slower pace than I used to because, we all get to the end of our resources. So some people can't dollar cost average in anymore. All they can do is sit and wait for these stocks to come back to where they belong. So
how uncomfortable would you make yourself right now? How much confidence do you have in what you're doing, Tom? Not financial advice. How much confidence do you have?
Like as it pertains to the 10K challenge?
No, just as it pertains of if you had, let's say, like more money on the sidelines to go into Bitcoin miners, would you do it?
I would do what I'm doing right now, which is just continue to dollar cost average in as they go down. And the reason I say that is, that's not always a good strategy. Dollar cost averaging, I can give you 100 stocks that's a horrible strategy for. And the reason is because they're going down because they're not good companies. So you don't want to dollar cost average and throw good money after bad on a company that's never coming back. But I've done a very deep dive on all these companies. So yes, I have a high level of conviction in the stocks that I've bought that they are ridiculously undervalued. And all you have to do is look around at the market and you will see stocks that fluctuate down 80%, up 320%, down, so it's not like it doesn't happen. I'm not hoping for a Hail Mary or a miracle or something. This is just how it works, unfortunately. You go through a lot of pain averaging in, and then, if you hold on long enough and you have a good stock, you get paid off.
Paid off, baby. So what's the reason for, how's the dollar doing right now? Is the dollar still strong, or is the dollar getting beat up?
I don't even look. I can look right now. I don't even look at the dollar. Let me first say thanks to Nameless Narrator. Appreciate the positive comment.
What did he say? I can't read him.
Oh. Want to take this opportunity to say thanks to Tom for all of his work. I can't imagine what it would feel like to be in this market without this emotional support. Oh, well.
Oh, cool.
I'm glad we're helping, and that's the whole point of what we're trying to do is just share our experiences. And I'm trying to let everybody know, like, everybody feels like they're alone and they're the only ones that lost money and they made a big mistake. And when we get together as a group like this, it helps big time. So that's what I got. That's what we do these live streams for. That's what I've got the Discord for. So, you know.
I want to, as you look that up, Tom, I'm going to let everybody know what the whole reason I started doing this also is because I'm running a thing called Can You Do Any Better? Had a problem with the website. I think I finally got it done. But my goal is to make 1,000 millionaires, by the way. That's my goal.
1,000 millionaires.
1,000 millionaires.
Well,
nobody else is going to do it, so I gotta.
It can be done. There's people that have done it before. So.
No, because people forget in the United States is that you have the opportunities for investment. You have an opportunity to work. You got to have 3 streams of income. You can't just think you're going to become successful by getting a job and working 8 to 5 because it ain't happening. I remember I had to sleep at my freaking office for a year. But whatever, it's just part of it. But this is the thing, we don't cry about it, we just do it.
That's the bottom line. It's hard work, it's patience, and usually it's a rough journey. I mean, I don't know anybody whose journey was super simple and, you know, got to the finish line without some pain and suffering. And the market right now, and the market is set up to give us pain and suffering to whatever extent it can. So, did we lose George? I don't see George anymore. Oh, he may be gone. Okay, so we'll go on. I don't know what happened to George. Maybe he can rejoin us. Oh. Awakened soul, please make me a millionaire. Well, that's what our goal is, and hopefully, you know, this channel is a part of it, and we're doing a bunch of... We will start to introduce some of the other stuff that we're doing as time goes on this channel, because that, you know, George is serious when he says that, and, you know, even if you don't end up being a millionaire, if we can all improve our financial position, that's, you know, that's important piece of the puzzle. Money isn't everything, but, you know, we do need it. So the more financially secure we can be, the better. And the stock market, you know, there's only a few ways to do this. The stock market, real estate, there's a short list of ways to dramatically change your financial position. You know, cryptocurrency, which I in my mind is a part of the stock market, but it's not really. So, you know, all of those things. Just going through some of the comments. More and more companies are committing to net zero. Yes. And I think that's very true in the Bitcoin mining industry. And so, you know, I think we're talking about the carbon credits. I'm just reading. Tom, as you have much more experience than most of us here, have you seen the market turn around 180 from something like this? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, and it's, you know, it's an old cliche, but I'll give you a very recent example. If you were in the stock market in March of 2020, you were living a nightmare. But that was followed by the biggest run-up in the history of the stock market. So that was just 2 years ago. So this does happen more than people think. Yes, it's dramatic. You know, there's some of these things, and there's always firsts where, you know, but in general, yeah, the market can take wild swings, and if you are patient, this is what most people do. And I can tell you, I've talked to so many people over the last few months and weeks that keep selling their stock. And it's like, I can't, you know, nobody can help you. If you're going to sell your stock at the low, then you're going to lose money. There's no, and you can't get it back. Mark Twain says, and that's the bottom line. I'm Air Force and being medically retired next week. Although I have tons of issues, I'm willing to work hard and do whatever is needed to have security for the rest of my life, says Awakened Soul. Yeah, okay, so this is, what are we on, the 4 hour? So you can see I've pulled up the RSI. This chart's the 4 hour chart. I'm not sure. Most of you guys are probably familiar with the RSI. It's one of the main indicators that's used, relative strength index. It basically is just something that shows whether you're overbought or oversold. And you can see, you know, they put these lines on here for you. Anything over 70 is considered overbought for most stocks. Under 30 is oversold. And you can see on the 4 hour, we are now at, what are we at? $23. So, oh, I think my face was in the way. So yeah, we're at $23 right now on the 4 hour, and I'll also say the 1 day. This is one of the reasons that I have some serious conviction that however bad this gets, and there's no predicting how bad it's going to get, that it's going to turn around, because the RSI on the 1 day is at 22.68. I'm going to scroll back. You have to go to the flash crash on May 19th is the last time we've been this oversold. And from there, you have to go back to the stock market crash from the virus in March of 2020. So we don't get to 26 RSI on the daily for Bitcoin. So this is wildly oversold. And that doesn't mean it can't keep going down. But what it does tend to indicate is that in all likelihood, we are getting very close to a bottom. And at some point, you can see this goes up and down and up and down. But, you know, this has been a downward trend since October 19th. We've been on a downward trend. And now we've spiraled into wildly oversold territory. So that's one of the many indicators that I look at that, you know, gives me comfort. You know, it's awful. This day's awful. Here we are down to 36,600. But this will only go so low. And historically speaking, when it gets this low, it only stays there for between maybe 1 and 3 days, 4 days at the most. So this really starts to signal a potential bottom in the market. The question is, how much lower until we get to that bottom? And we're in a weird situation because it's Friday now. So unless you're buying Bitcoin itself, there's nothing we can do with the miners until Monday morning. So this all may take place over the weekend. So by Monday morning, we may have hit a low, turned back around, and are on the way up. Sorry, I'm just taking a minute to read the comments. Oh, I got Awkward Soul. Have you been loading the Bitfarms 2024 calls? I have more Bitfarm calls than any other company. They have the most reasonably priced options. So yes, you are right, Awkward Soul. That's go compare the premium on these Bitfarm options versus, you know, Marathon options. It's radically different. So yes, I have more Bitfarms options than any other company. He's asking which calls I've bought so far. I mean, I do mess around with very small dollar amounts. I will mess around with, you know, calls that are out 2 months. That's about as small amount of time frame as I'll give myself. But 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year, and like, you know, these leap options on something like Bitfarms, you know, the leap options, the 2023 and the 2024, you know, I almost feel like they're giving them away. So Sorry, guys. I'm a little slower without George because I'm reading the comments. Do you think we'll see a bounce after Powell talks on Wednesday? I don't know. I think just getting that talk over with does help because the market seems to freeze in anticipation of these talks. And there's going to be no surprise. That's no... And you guys can leave nasty comments if I'm wrong, but I don't believe he's going to say anything that's going to surprise anybody. There's not too much. They're in a pretty narrow range of what they can do. So I think we all pretty much know what's going to happen. Seriously 33 is saying Bitfarm is using clean energy from hydro. A lot of the Canadian miners are very clean with their energy. And, you know, I know this is one of those things where they're under such massive scrutiny in the Bitcoin mining industry, but really they are, on the average, much cleaner than almost any other industry. But I do think that there's going to be legislation that's going to require them to be extremely clean with their mining. So, you know, and obviously Canada will have different legislation than the United States, etc. But a lot of the Canadian companies have, you know, mining facilities all over the place. Do I think the big boys are trying to suppress the market in order to delay the rate rises? I will tell you, I don't think everybody's very concerned about rate hikes, and there probably will be some rate hikes coming. But if you just look at the way the economy is structured right now and the amount of debt that we have, there's only so many rate hikes these guys can do. So it's not like they can come out swinging and shock us and, you know, do a 0.75 on Wednesday. They're, you know, versus they're going to do this 0.25 at a time. They'll do it a couple of times. You know, people are talking about 3 or 4 or 5. I read an article yesterday from somebody who said, oh, they need to immediately raise it 6%. Well, that's good, but then we can close the country at the same time because we'll be bankrupt. So that's not going to happen. So there's only so much they can do. So I feel like these are more of an excuse for big money to push the market around and spread fear to people and do just what they're doing to Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners right now. Right? Look, I mean, this is a nightmare and it's for no reason. Let's see, 2 years after rate hikes start are usually better than the low interest environment. That's the other thing. I've looked at a lot of people show some studies that there's not a lot of correlation with these rate hikes and the market anyway. So everybody's afraid of them. 0.25% really is not that relevant. I don't know if Ian's talking to me, claiming manipulation. That's an easy out. Well, I mean, I think pretty much everybody agrees there's a certain amount of manipulation in the stock market, and there's nothing any of us can do about it. It's just reality. So right now, a couple of people are asking what's my top miner or what's my top few miners, and I got to wrap it up in a few minutes, but I just want to get through a little bit more. Right now, CleanSpark at its 52-week low, I would put as for me, that's one of my top buys. it's very hard. So many of these are such an unbelievable price right now that it's hard to say what's 1, what's 2, what's 3. But CleanSpark has been beaten down far more than anything else. I'm taking a close look, and this would not be my number 1 by any means, but I'm taking a close look at Cypher because this thing has been decimated. My only problem with them is they're really not going to get kicking mining Bitcoin until like June or July. So, you know, they're at 277. They could be at $1.50 by then, but that's going to be the buy of all time. This thing is like falling. Look out below. So I got my eye on that, but I'm not buying it yet. You know, Riot's at its 52-week low. Marathon's at a crazy low point. Hive is under $2. Bitfarms, one of my favorites. So I hate to answer with so many answers, but you know, I do own a bunch of these mining companies in my portfolio. I like to be diversified. You never know which one's going to do what. But the real answer is today I added to my Bitfarm position, my CleanSpark position, and my HUT position. So those are the 3 things I actually did today. So I guess that would have to be my real answer. Awkward Soul saying, I don't think people understand how big Bitcoin will be with its limited demand. Bitcoin will be the digital Mona Lisa. And that's what I'm saying. At some point, the fundamentals on this are going to play out. In the meantime, they are just absolutely torturing us. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, nobody can argue the fact that Bitcoin acceptance is massively improved over the last 12 months. And certainly, right, we're now in territory where 12 months ago we were high. We're down from 12 months ago today, as of right now. So I think somebody would have a hard time making a fundamental argument that Bitcoin should be less today than it was a year ago. And I think it will correct, but Lord knows how long it's going to take. But again, I look at these types of things, you know, they help me make decisions. Any one indicator is not, you know, none of these are 100%, and they all work until they don't work. So, you know, please don't rely on any one thing, but this is some of the stuff that I look at when I try to make my decisions on what's happening. I'm just looking for the... Sorry, guys. Idea for a ticker review. Oh, PKK. All right. CleanSpark, HUT, and Mara today for me. Probably going to add next week as well, said Tom Shaw. So that was pretty close to what I did. And yeah, I mean, Marathon and Riot are just shocking to me where they are right now. You know, and there was a time where those were the only 2 you could trade in other than over the counter. So, you know, that's where probably most of us, that's where I started my trading in Bitcoin mining, was in Marathon. On Riot with a strike of 28, have been rolling it for a few months. Sold the put when Riot was at 35. Yeah, I mean, ouch. Thanks for the live stream. What a time to be alive. Thanks, nameless narrator. That's something we should all remember. It doesn't really matter that much what happened in the market on any given day. We should all be happy we're here and we're alive. And never thought I'd see Riot at $15, said Ian Williams. I'm right there with you. That is shocking to me. And if, you'll notice on my channel I've started to talk about, and I will never abandon Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners because that's where I spend most of my time looking. But I've added a lot of other stocks because there are some things that are just, they're beaten down even worse than the Bitcoin miners are. I mean, it's getting crazy out there. You're welcome, Ben. Thanks for watching. All right, so I'm going to wrap it up and let everybody have a good weekend. And thank you, everybody, so much for joining us on the live streams. Thanks for watching the videos. And thank you for all the comments on the videos. It really makes a big difference. You know, I love interacting with you guys. I try to answer. If you leave a comment, you'll notice I usually give an answer. I try to do that within 24 hours. So I appreciate all that. And it does help me in the YouTube algorithm for whatever that's worth. So thank you very much.